You are now listening to The Forefront Radio, where we discuss history, the Bible, the history of the Israelites, science, and other matters. Bring it out. The history of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans as it relates to the Bible. Who were you prior to slavery? Who were you prior to colonization? These answers and more can be seen and heard as you listen to The Forefront Radio.
Don't know the Bible.
Read to whom pertaineth
to what?
To whom pertaineth
pertaining.
Bring it out.
Belongs to.
The adoption. And the glory.
And the glory.
And the covenant.
Look, why you waiting? They brain gone like decapitation. No knowledge, no laws, God, they forsaken. Put on slave ships, not a cruise line, Jacob. No martinis for that long trip, stop playing. They change our name with hot flames branded on our faces. Throw our kids in dirty water, alligator baiting. 100 million dead people, blood on the pavement. You say Jesus, but I'm looking at these crackers like they Satan, nigga playing. They paying for their crimes, calling statute limitations. They saying that it ain't them, that it was their fathers. Isaiah 14 say prepare them for their slaughter. This for Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner. Babylon falling, fire burning arson. Christ coming back, real black like it's charcoal. Burning up these heathen for the evils that they conjured.
It's for us, our eyes have yet failed, for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation they couldn't save us. They slay us and get off free like they made us. But I switch the game up, the black Messiah can save us.
I ain't finished. Esau soon will be diminished. Mount Zion full of saviors, call them God's children. 144, Esau about to be a victim. Keep the laws, then we get them on the day of vengeance. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? Esau running for their life like it's LA Fitness. Revelation 18:6, double portion with them. Try to hide the caves, but let's get them. He that leader with the sword, gonna die by the sword. They gonna be surprised, Black Christ coming here for war. They ain't heard this before. No more nice Negroes, time for real heroes. Esau be zero, just like Nat Turner. Turn me up, we gone. Turn me up, we gone. And I'm out, Israelite.
Now he's mad about the way we're teaching the Bible.
I'm as mad as hell, but I'm not gonna take this anymore.
For us, our eyes have yet failed, for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation they couldn't save us. They slay us and get off free like they made us. But I switch the game up, the black Messiah can save
Never
us.
trust my enemies, I know what you did to me. Locked and loaded KJV, Revelations 1 and 3. Reading through these mysteries, our praises, now we got the keys. Unlocking hope and giving hope to those that seek the Holy Ghost. My holy folks gon' hold me down, exhorting on a daily basis. Prepare for temptation, crafty counsel just around the way. Snooze, you lose, you snooze awaken, oh ye slugger. I see brothers killing brother, ministers, women raising monsters. That's why we crying loud on you busters. Scripting, ripping through the trenches in the seas of the ghetto. My people at a lower state, the prophets here to motivate. Isaiah 61 and 1, grinding up these broken hearts, reform them till they make it.
Men. But we're going to clear up the falsehood of the heathen tonight. All right, so Genesis 42 and verse 6. We're going to start with Joseph. Now, the rumor is that these prophetics, that the Egyptians in some fantasy world of Harry Potter, maybe, I don't know, were white. And the Jews or the Hebrews, Israelites, which Joseph was an Israelite, descendant of Israel, Jacob, was white. Okay, so we're going to read about Joseph first. Genesis 42, verse 6.
The book of Genesis, chapter 42 and verse 6. And Joseph was the governor over the land. And he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him.
So Joseph recognized his brothers. He saw them. They didn't recognize him. Why didn't they recognize him? Because he was dressed like an Egyptian. He had a clean shaven, makeup, whatever. So they didn't recognize him, right? He recognized them. Jump down to verse, read on.
Verse 9. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, Ye are spies, to seek the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said unto him, Nay, my lord, but to buy food are thy servants come.
Go ahead. So he accused him of stealing. Go ahead.
We are all one man's sons. We are true men. Thy servants are no spies. And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come.
Jump to verse 20.
Verse 20. But bring your youngest brother unto me, so shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die. And they did so.
Go ahead.
And they said one to another, We are verily guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us.
When he besought us.
And we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us.
What's happened to us now, we deserve it because they sold him into slavery. So remember, the point of this is that they're having a dialogue with Joseph. They're looking at him. They're talking. It's not through some wall. They're talking to him directly. Go ahead.
And Reuben answered them, saying, Spake I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child, and ye would not hear. Therefore, behold, all his blood is required.
Whatever happens to us is our own fault for selling him into slavery. Go ahead.
And they knew not that Joseph understood them.
Go ahead.
For he spake unto them by an interpreter.
So they're talking to his interpreter in Hebrew. He's translating it to Joseph in Egyptian. And then Joseph speaking Egyptian, speaking to the interpreter. He's talking to him in Hebrew. So they're having a dialogue. Now, here's the question. Why don't they recognize Joseph among Egyptians?
Shalom. It was all black. It was all same skin color.
Say again?
It was all black.
Thank you. Because he looked like an Egyptian. He passed for an Egyptian and they recognized him. He looked like the Egyptians. Y'all understand? Because if he was a white boy, and the Egyptians, let's say Egyptians are black and the Jews and Hebrews are white. You recognize a white boy dressed in Egyptian clothing. Like Eminem, dressed like us. You know he's black. No, you know he's not black. That's a white boy just like a Negro. So likewise, they recognize their brother. Hey, look at that shaven dude. Joseph? They would recognize him. That would be clear. But they didn't recognize him because he looked like the Egyptians. He spoke to them by an interpreter. He's speaking to them in Egyptian. He's speaking to his interpreter in Egyptian. And the interpreter is translating what he's saying to them in their language and vice versa to him.
Let me help them out. If Joseph was a white man, it wouldn't have mattered what kind of clothes he put on. It wouldn't have mattered what kind of language interpretation. They would have recognized that he was not Egyptian. They would have recognized that. Mm-hmm. See what I'm talking about? Got to get the cells together, get the brains moving. Go ahead.
Let's prove it. Joseph was a black man.
The name of this book is entitled Our Living Bible, put together by the biblical scholars of this society. This is the picture here.
Now remember what it says. It says Joseph was governor in Genesis 42, verse 6. He was governor. What did that say, Captain Isaac?
So Joseph found favor in his sight and attended him, and he made him overseer of his house. The blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and field.
See that?
Painting from the tomb of Not, 15th century BC.
See that? That's Joseph's status. From worker to governor.
So where's Joseph in the picture? Huh? The one sitting on the throne up there. Y'all see him? That's Joseph because he's over Egypt. That's what you're looking at. That's Joseph there. Yep. Look at him. Black. Look at that dark color on him.
You get white from there. There's no red there. No off-white, none of that. That's a brown man. That's Joseph. And guess what? If Joseph looked like that, guess what looked like that? His brothers too. And his dad and his mom.
Okay.
That's called common sense. Let's go to, now we're going to deal with Exodus 2, verse 15. Now we're going to deal with Moses. Because remember, Joseph was an Israelite, and so was Moses. He was one too. Let's see what, maybe his color changed.
So where we going now?
Exodus 2, verse 15.
The book of Exodus, chapter 2, verse 15. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses, but Moses fled from the...
Matter of fact, no. Let's go to the movie first. Go to the clip first. Let's go to Ten Commandments clip first.
Okay, there we go.
How long's the clip?
We'll just get right to it.
Yeah,
This ain't long.
All right.
Ain't long.
We're going to go to the movie with Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston.
Called The Ten Commandments. We watched this earlier today, too.
Right. So let me give you a little background. This is the movie about Moses going in and he conquered the Ethiopian king. And he's going to bring it to the Egyptian king Pharaoh up on the wall. Now, this was actually filmed in Cairo, Egypt, so you can understand. Mm-hmm. This is the actual palace. This is not backdrop Hollywood. This is actually filmed in Cairo, Egypt. Okay, Sister B. DeMille, he actually took his cameras and all that stuff over there and filmed this, so you can understand what it's talking about. Go.
The Lord Moses, Prince of Egypt, son of the Pharaoh's sister, beloved of the Nile God, commander of the stubborn host. The blessings of the god Amun-Ra be upon you, great prince. He has brought down the pride of Ethiopia. He has set his
The old windbag.
He has raised Egypt to its
I agree with it.
May your name be exalted on earth, O conqueror, even as the sun is exalted in the heavens.
Now that's Seti. That's Set right there. Seti, the first right there, and next to him the woman is Nefertiti. Keep her in mind. The woman next to him is, I think it's his daughter, Nefertiti. All right. Okay.
Welcome to my sister's son. We have heard how you took Ibis from the Nile to destroy the venomous serpents used against you when you laid siege to the city of Saba.
May my arms stay strong in your service, great city.
Who is this fair young god come into the house of Pharaoh?
No need to tell you how I share her joy at your return.
No need, my brother. Great one, I bring you Ethiopia.
What color are the Ethiopians? Why didn't they now? And who are the Egyptians in the picture? The white ones. Can we read the Bible dictionary, please? Just for a second.
Yeah, that's it. You can go there now.
Yeah, I have to go there. Mm-hmm. Have to go there. The white man's lies.
Now, remind you, the Pathetics teach that we descend from them, Cushites. First, in slavery, we were Canaanites.
Right.
Now they remixed it now. Now we're Cushites now. And these are Cushites. Ethiopia is Cush. So they're saying that that's us there, and he's teaching that that's them, white folks, that's them there. So they're pushing the same nonsense agenda this movie pushed the years ago it was made. The same exact thing in 2017. Pushing the exact same thing. Egyptians is white, and you Negroes were Cushites or Nubians. Yeah.
You got it?
Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes, but it said, what did it say about Ham? Read it again.
He became the progenitor of the dark races.
Hold on, y'all see this here? It says, Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. Ham, that's what he is. He became the father. The word progenitor means father of the dark races. So these are the dark races that came out of Ham. But then he first starts off by saying not the Negroes. So Ham was not the Negroes' father. So Ham did not come, the Negroes did not come out of Ham. That's what the first thing that the scholar sets aside. He removes the Negroes from the whole seed of Ham, period. Right. So you so-called Negroes are not Hamitic at all. Right. You didn't come from the seed of Shem, from the seed of Ham at all. Right. But now he's going to tell you who came out of one of the dark races. He was the father of the dark races. Now let's name the dark races. Go ahead.
But the Egyptians?
So the Egyptian is a dark race.
Ethiopians.
Ethiopians is a dark race.
Libyans.
Libyans, the Africans in the north part of Africa. Go ahead.
And Canaanites.
And the Canaanites, the South Africans. Do you see that? So now, let's go back to the film.
No, hold on.
Okay.
Something else. Get what I sent you to Cambridge? Okay. This what was used in their video. I don't know why he read this for.
This was in what's his name?
Yeah, he used to say we're Cushites. It says Cush in Hebrew and Ethiopia. Cush is the name in Hebrew. Ethiopia is the name in Greek. Designate the land and people of the upper Nile River from modern southern Egypt into Sudan. The more indigenous term for this region is Nubia. Ham is another Hebrew term for the darker hued people.
Hold it.
Of antiquity.
Wait a minute. He said what? Ham is another Hebrew term for the dark people, the darker hued people of antiquity.
In Genesis 10, Ham is the son of Noah who populates Africa. So if his children populated Africa and they're dark-hued people, who the hell are we seeing in this movie?
Now let's go back to the movie.
That's confusion.
Y'all all right?
They used this against us. I don't know what the hell they was doing that for. I don't get it.
Good. Now,
the whiteness.
Let's go back to the movie now. Go back to the clip that we were looking at. So tell me this. How in the world are they going to have up on the stage the Ethiopians and the Egyptians are blood brothers? They both come from Ham. Why is it that they got the Egyptians as white people when they said that both their father was Ham, black?
But Esau and Jacob is madness, being black and white. One's white. That's possible. Right. But Esau and Jacob is fallacious.
Right. Exactly. Did y'all get that? But we read out of the dictionary that it said what? He became the father of the dark races, and then it named them. It said the Egyptians. So why do they have white folks here? You want to know why? Because they wanted to say that Moses passed for white to make him white as well. Mm-hmm. Do you see that? That's the evil that these people have done. But they couldn't lie about the Ethiopians because too many people would have woke up. You to try to make the Ethiopians white, but wait a minute. Yep. We got the Cambodia, the people starving with the big belly and all that. Mm-hmm. We know that that's black people, so you can't lie about them.
Ethiopian mean burnt face.
You follow me? So no, they wouldn't have gotten away with that, but they said, well, we can lie about the Egyptians because people don't really know the history. Mm-hmm. I want you to understand how these people get down. Y'all follow me? Now, see the woman that's sitting beside him? That's Nefertiri. Did y'all see that when they called it? They called her name in this clip. Did y'all see that? Or maybe did they? Did they say her name?
It don't matter.
Okay.
It don't matter.
But that's who that is.
Yeah, put it side by side. That's good, side by side.
There, now, let's see what it says. How y'all like that?
Night and day.
How y'all like that? What did it say there, Isaac?
How graceful are your feet in sandals, O queenly maiden. Queen Amos Nefertiri, 13th century BC, on painting, Deir el Medina, Egypt.
So you see that? So Nefertiri, which was an Egyptian, meaning that Pharaoh was supposed to look like her. So you can understand. And if Pharaoh looked like her and Moses passed for an Egyptian, that meant that Moses was supposed to look like this as well. Y'all see that? And if Moses looked like this, that means Joseph, like we showed earlier, looked like this, meaning all the Israelites are dark people. Damn.
You know, we had these books. Stop talking about us, or we're going to destroy you.
There's more.
Nefertiri, night and day. That's complete whitewashing right there. Madness. So the Egyptians were black, dark-hued people. Everyone understand that? All right. It's written on their own walls.
Hey, but that movie that we watching right there, that's white supremacy.
Yep.
You understand? That's what that is. You understand? That's what Christianity is based on, white supremacy. You understand? If you try anything great, they try to say it's them. Mm-hmm. You know, they read about the Egyptians was a great people. That's why you got a lot of Negroes running around that they're trying to be Egyptian, because at one point in time, they was a great people. Mm-hmm. You understand? So the Egyptians was great. Guess what the white man say? We were the Egyptians. You understand? Christ, another great man. Moses, another great man. The white man said, these is our people, because guess what? Guess what? If the white man, if Esau, if they say, okay, Moses was a dark-skinned man, or they admit that we are Israelites, you know what they saying? You know what Esau is saying if he admit that Moses was dark-skinned, or he admit that we are the original Israelites? You know what he's going? He's literally admitting that he the devil the Bible speaks of. You understand? And he's admitting that he gonna be judged for what he did. Because if we are the Israelites, and he did all, if we are God's people, the Israelites, and he know in his heart he hate us, and all that evil he did to us, he know that there is a God. You understand? And he know judgment is gonna come to him. That's why in his mind, he will never say that we are the children of Israel. And any dark image that you got set up, he gonna say, he gonna destroy it, hide or try to hide it from us, and he gonna always push that lie that Jesus was white, the Egyptians is white. You know, he gonna push that white supremacy. But it's up to you. It's up to you all to see beyond that line, man. It's up to you all.
Right. 2:15.
Exodus 2:15.
Thank you.
Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses.
Because Moses killed an Egyptian, so he ran. Go ahead.
But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well.
Go ahead.
Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock.
Go ahead.
And when they came to Ruel, their father,
AKA Jethro, go ahead.
He said, how is it that ye are come so soon today?
Watch this.
And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock.
These women were Ethiopians. They would have known whether or not Moses was either an Egyptian or a Hebrew if he were a white Hebrew. Because Ethiopians and Egyptians are what? Relatives. They said Moses, an Egyptian, has come to help us at the well. So they confused Moses with what? Moses was raised as a what? How did Nefertari look? Like a what? Like a black woman. So how is he raised in the house of Pharaoh with a woman that dark? Unless he had to pass for her child. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So obviously Moses was a black man. Let's get chapter 4, verse
6.
Yeah, verse 6. Yeah.
Exodus 4, verse 6. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thy bosom.
So he told Moses, put your hand inside your bosom. In your garment.
And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow.
His hand came out white. Go ahead.
And he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again.
Put your hand back into your shirt again, your garment again.
And he put his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh.
What's the other flesh? Black flesh. It's the opposite. Other is the opposite of white. Leprous is snow. It's the opposite. Not the same. What miracle would that be? Put a white hand in your garment, come out as white again.
Right, and leprosy.
Nigga, your hand is white again. What's the miracle in that? A white hand is a whiter hand? Was he powder? So retarded.
Right, and also on leprosy ain't talking about sores. It's talking about you losing your pigment in your skin. That's what leprosy is.
Yep.
You know, when you go to when you read about Miriam, you getting that?
No, I don't get that.
When you read about Miriam, remember what the Mosai hit her with leprosy too. He said that she looked like one that was dead.
Yep.
You understand? Yep. Because when somebody dead, you know how they look pale. There's no pigment in their skin. So that's what leprosy is. Right. You know, because you know the same dude, he talk about the leprosy and talk about sores. Yeah. You know, Job had leprosy, and guess what? The Most also smite him with sores. Yeah, you understand? It wasn't just leprosy Job had. The Most also smite him with sores. You understand? So having leprosy is losing your pigment in your skin.
Esau calls it vitiligo. He changed the entire definition around.
Can I read it real quick? What he quoted with Numbers Real quick, it's only 2 verses.
Yeah.
We're in Numbers chapter 12, verse 11. This is when the Most High plagued Miriam for running her mouth against Moses because he married the Ethiopian woman. So the Lord called them, all 3 of them, to the temple, and he plagued Miriam with leprosy. He said, and Aaron said unto Moses, alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not this sin upon us where we have done foolishly and where we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb. So the Most High stripped the pigment from her.
Because when you see, sometimes you see Edomites, right? Like, especially when the place real cold, some of them, they look pale, real pale. You understand? You look at them, you don't even see the redness. Some of them look pale like they dead.
Hey, let's even use the analogy of when he said, let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb. You people in here that have dark-skinned children, you see how they are when they're first born, and then as their melanin sets in, the baby gets its regular complexion. It's very dark. You see the baby when it comes out, it's very, very light. Okay, and that's what he was describing here. When the melanin was stripped from her skin, and she looked with that pale skin. Okay, that's why he gave the analogy of a baby when it comes out. The parents could be dark, but when that baby comes out, because that color hasn't set in, that's what he described Miriam to. Yeah. Person with no color.
What, Exodus 4 and 2?
Exodus 4 and 2. And the Lord said unto him, what is that in thine hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. And the Lord said unto Moses, put forth thine hand.
Hold it. Oh, yeah, continue reading. Go ahead. Put forth the hand and do what?
And take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand.
Now, the reason why I've had this read is because Deacon Malachi was correct when he said that this movie was about white supremacy. Y'all listening? Because they showed that miracle in the movie. Show it to them. Just show the clip so they can see. You found the part? Play it.
Let my people go.
The slaves are mine. Their lives are mine. All that they own is mine. I do not know your God, nor will I let Israel go.
Who are you to make their lives bitter in hard bondage? Man shall be ruled by law, not by the will of other men.
Who is this God that I should let your people go?
Aaron, cast down my staff before Pharaoh, that he may see the power of God. In this you shall know that the Lord is God.
Over here, it said this part of the movie, correct? Read it again, and then read on.
Exodus 4 and 2. And the Lord said unto him, what is that in thine hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. And the Lord said unto Moses, put forth thine hand, and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand.
So let me give you some understanding. What we're reading here happened before this scene here with the Pharaoh, so you can understand. But the fact that they brought it back to the time of Pharaoh, why didn't they bring this next part out? Read the next piece.
And the Lord, verse 6, and the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow.
Hold it. If they would have put that in the movie, too many of you would have woke up. So they said, don't put that in there. Because if Moses would have been white, just like you said earlier, what would have been the miracle?
Yep.
And too many of them said, wait a minute, he was black in his hand. The Israelites are black. No, they said, no, don't do that. Just get that whole scene out. Y'all see that? This is what the brother just read earlier about. He told Moses to put his hand into his bosom, and when he pulled it out, his hand was leprous. Then he told him to put it back into his bosom again, and it came out just like his other flesh, meaning the rest of his body. Did y'all get that? So the miracle was his hand turning white. That's the point. So why they didn't put that in the movie? Because they wanted you to think Moses was white completely, period. Lies. Y'all got that?
Vitiligo, they call it. They turn leprosy.
The Most High calls it leprosy.
Yep,
I don't know what
leprosy.
this mess they got in the hospital. The Most High call it leprosy.
Now, there's another book called The Black Image in the White Mind, The Debate on Afro-American Character and Destiny. Now, 1817, where were we? Slavery. Okay. To 1914, fighting for what? Fighting for rights and so forth. So we were still damn near slaves in their mind all throughout this time here. So this goes into history of I'll just read to y'all. This is page 74 and 75.
Yes, sir. Page 74, The Black Image in the White Mind.
Right.
The originator of the new scientific ethnology was Dr. Samuel George Morton of Philadelphia, who published a book in 1839.
Ethnology is the science of races. Ethnology, ethnicity, ethnology. Go ahead.
Who published a book in 1839 that promised to bring an end to loose speculation about racial origins and differences by opening an era of hard-headed empiricism.
Regarding where blacks come from. Go ahead.
Morton's Crania Americana was
Crania Americana, he studied the skull. Remember the movie Django, where Candy had the skull of Ben? So these guys dealt with that science, skulls of Negroes. Crania Americana, the American skull, basically. Skull of Americans or African Americans. Go ahead.
Was the result of years of collecting and examining human skulls.
Hours. Go ahead.
As he gathered and studied the crania of different types of men, Morton became aware of the differences between white, Indian, and Negro skulls, and of the fact that the ancient crania from a given race did not seem to differ from those of their modern descendants.
Yeah.
Morton concluded that the races had always had the same physical characteristics and by implication the same mental qualities. In the 1840s, Morton collaborated with George R. Glidden, an Egyptologist who provided him with mummy heads and information about the racial significance of Egyptian tomb inscriptions.
Stop. So now he decides to cooperate with an Egyptian craniologist. He's an American craniologist. This guy does the skulls of Egyptians. You understand? Y'all follow so far? These two Edomites, during the time we were slaves, these Edomites are working together to figure out the origin of black folks. So he went to a craniologist of Egyptians, the tombs and so forth. Go ahead.
In Crania Egyptica.
In Cranio Egyptica, that's his Greek for whatever. Egyptian skulls. Go ahead.
Published in 1844, Morton pointed out that both cranial and archaeological evidence showed that the Egyptians were not Negroes.
Stop. Because they thought we were. Why? What they saw on the walls. Nefertiti, they're Egyptians. But they realized based on their studies, we're not Egyptians. Just like Zonovan said. Just like Cambridge said. Go ahead.
As abolitionists and colonialists had maintained.
As they thought. They thought, we're all Africans. They said, nah, we're wrong about that. Go ahead, watch this.
And that, in fact, blacks had been relegated to the same servile position in ancient Egypt as in modern America.
I don't think they got that.
Do you understand what you just heard? Read it again.
And that, in fact, blacks.
Stop. Just there alone. In fact, what they've learned, not based on their assumptions,
go ahead,
but in fact, they learned what?
Blacks
had
been relegated to the same servile position. In ancient Egypt. As in modern America.
White folks will read that and they'll understand that the Negroes are the Jews. That's what they will read. But we, with this African trip and all this madness, we be still talking some foolishness. That's what that book just told you, that they know that you are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. So the reason, now I know the reason why you brought it up, because I didn't read that. I didn't know about that.
Hey.
That backs up what's read in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary clearly. And it also backs this up.
Read that next.
Hey,
Hold it.
Let me bring out one point before you move on from there. Go to Deuteronomy 28 and 68, and then jump to verse 46. Because what they say, you're going to hear, this is the new doctrine you're all going to hear. The new doctrine is that slavery took place in the time of the Romans, right? But get that and read it real quick. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. then jump to verse 46. Jump back to verse 46. We gonna prove them apologetics lie because we just read what that book said, right? It says that the slave share in America, right? It went through the same bondage as a slave in Egypt. They had the same gland in their skull, right?
Oh, it's the same people.
It's the same people. Right? So read that.
Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
When it says Egypt here, all right, the word Egypt here is synonymous to bondage or the house of bondage. All right, it doesn't literally mean the ancient Egypt because they said when the Romans came against us, they took us back into Egypt as slaves again. But this is not what this is talking about. All right, read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
And no man shall buy us, meaning no man shall save us. All right, now even if they say, okay, this happened in the time of the Romans, it ain't talking about the slaves and them, what took place in the 1600s. Read verse 46.
Verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
So the scripture says that the curse is going to be upon us for what?
A sign and for a wonder.
For a sign for us to know who we are today. And a wonder for us to wonder why these things happening to us. So these curses going to be upon us for a sign and a wonder. Read on.
And upon thy seed forever.
And upon the Israelite seed forever. So guess what? We just read that the children of Israel gonna go into Egypt on ships, right? Guess what? That didn't happen one time. That didn't happen 2 times. That didn't happen 3 times. It's something that happened over and over and over and over and over. You understand? Every time a nation rose up and came into power, they took the Israelites as slaves. You know? When you read about the Babylonians, they came and they took us into slavery, right? Guess what? They probably sent some of us on ship too. You know, when you read about the Persians, they came and took us as slaves. Guess what? A lot of our forefathers had to go to Sushan, all the way to Elam. Guess what? They probably took us over there on ships too. Same thing with the Greeks, the Romans. But guess what? This is the last time it's going to happen. Right. You understand? This time when they brought us here in America, this is the last slavery that we're going to ever go through. This is the last time we're going to be taken in slavery on slave ships. So yes, this prophecy right here belongs to us. All right? And it is talking about what happened in the 1600s. So you all don't listen to those lying demons, man. Apologetics. They don't understand the Bible. Because imagine if they say, you know what? This right here is really talking about the Negroes. You understand? You understand if they admit that what's going to happen? So that's why they got to find ways to make this don't be true in your eyes. You understand?
Get verse 68, please. Now, the guy in the video mentioned he read a Revised Version Bible. Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. He read this. Read that right there. Read your Bible, too. It's in this Catholic Bible here.
This is a Catholic Bible, the Tyndale and Catholic Living Bible, illustrated.
Yeah, Tyndale is revised. It's still a revised version, regardless.
It's revised, right? It's revised.
68. Go ahead.
Right. It's a paraphrased Bible. That's what they call it. It says, this is verse 68, Deuteronomy 28. Then the Lord will send you back to Egypt in ships, a journey I promise you would never need to make again. And there you will offer to sell yourselves to your enemies as slaves. But no one will even want to buy you.
So the guy goes, see? You didn't offer yourselves in slavery. They took you as slaves. So that's not talking about you. That's what he said. Now get what you want to get. What it says in that same Bible regarding us, in that same book.
So now, about going back to the Ham and Genesis, it says, there's a footnote at the bottom of the page. It says, Ham was not the ancestor of the Negro, as was once erroneously supposed.
Same book.
Same book. Ham was not the ancestor of the Negro, as was once erroneously supposed.
Being wrong.
Wrong. We were wrong as hell. That's what they say.
Right.
We were wrong as hell.
But in fact, we were relegated to the same servile conditions in Egypt as they were in America. That's what they're saying, the exact same thing. Do y'all understand that? Yes, I am. Do y'all understand that? Yes, all right. Let's get BibleArchaeology.org. I want that. That's a picture of Egyptians doing work on the walls. Those are Egyptians. It says Tomb of Mena, Thebes, circa 1420 BC. Those are Egyptians dealing with grain. See that? Moses passed for that. You saw Nefertiti, how dark she was, right? So where are the Egyptians white at? Where are they white? This is black. These are Egyptians on the wall. Scroll a little bit higher. Go bring it down so you can see the top. See the feet? Look at the feet. These are their feet. Then you see the whole body as you go further down. Well, that's not the same thing, but different picture. But on the bottom there too. That's all Egyptians there. Where are the white Egyptians? They came during the time of the Greeks, during Ptolemaic dynasty. Ptolemaic dynasty, the Greeks became pharaohs. And the Romans became pharaohs to put their own images up there and whitewash them and so forth and knock the noses off. Like the Sphinx. To push their white supremacist agenda because racism requires power. Black folks can't walk around blackwashing white images. We can't do that. We haven't done that. We lack the power to do that. Y'all understand? Let's go to the video I sent you on YouTube.
So there's the clip for the brothers to see what we read out of the book.
Okay, there it goes. Blow it up more so they can see it. See that? Ham is not the ancestor of the Negro as was erroneously supposed. So they taught that to us in slavery. You're Canaan. You're black. That's a curse of Canaan, curse of Ham. Now they're saying to us now, oh, you're Nubians, you're Cushites. It's the same damn thing. It's just a remix. He said you're Hamite. He said in the video we're Hamitic Gentiles. That's what he said. That's the same thing as that right there. Same exact thing. You're supposed to be slaves. That's what they're saying to us.
Not just that. What he does also, he finds some pictures that look real horrible and try to say, you see that? That's how you all really looked back then. You understand? Yeah. To destroy the image and the psyche of us.
Yep.
Y'all get the picture of Moses?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Show them that, please. You got that too?
I sent you from the book, The Icons.
The Icons. Written by who? Show it was from. Show them the cover of that. Surely we're lying. The Icon. By who?
By the Evans brothers. That was the first group that made it, but it's put together by a team of scholars.
Right. Book called The Icon. Let's see what's found in this book.
It's like sections of it is put together by different scholars.
Yep. We're going to see how these biblical figures were factually depicted in paintings in early Europe, where we ruled for over 1,000 years.
Y'all see what y'all see here? Now I'm gonna show you. Hold it now. I'm gonna guide you through the pictures.
Now, that picture on the left, the Christ and his mother, that's whitewashed. I have the actual image in my house. They're dark as night. There we go.
Well, there's a section in the book, right? Okay, he's got it there. So y'all see it's the same picture, right? I just sent it to him. The prophet Moses is up at the top holding the burning bush.
On the left.
Right, that one there. Zoom in so they can see him.
Yep.
Oh, yeah? Can you see the woolly hair on his head? Look at his face. Don't tell me that they didn't have color to make him white if he was white. Look at the picture around the skin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so look at the garment that he's wearing. Man, them garments was out of sight. Look at that thing. Damn. Look at that thing. Okay, now let's get the wording. Move down. Let's zoom in on the words there. What does it say down there at the bottom? Above it says, detailed prophet Moses.
Yep.
Can y'all see that? So when it says above, so go back above, move it up. The prophet Moses. That's King David on the other side there. That's King David on that side.
Because the thought is, oh, he was ruddy.
Right.
Yeah, Ruddy Brown, you lying bastards.
Okay. So you got Moses, and you got David.
Mm-hmm.
That's Andrew.
Oh, that's Andrew. That's one of the
Prophet
apostles.
Andrew,
One of the
right. One of the
apostles.
apostles, Andrew.
Another Jew.
Right. And they wanted to start lightening him up.
See his hands. Look at his face. And his head. Why his
Right,
hands
they're
out?
starting to light
Look at
him
his
up.
face.
All right. So let's move on, because I want Deacon Ithon to get all this stuff out.
Go to the video I sent you about.
Because like you said, this is warning shots. I ain't
warning
gotta
shots. You ain't gotta go too.
I ain't gotta go too deep
Nope.
now. But if you start some crap again, we're gonna tear your behind up.
Even worse.
Go ahead.
You got more than this. You go there. Just blow that up. So you know we're not making this up. It's on the walls. Press play. The very beginning is very short.
We know from the Bible that the Israelites arrived in Egypt some 200 years before their exodus. In the original Hebrew, the Bible calls the Israelites God's people, or Amo Israel. If we write about our dates, there should be hard archaeological evidence for the arrival of these Amo around 1700 BCE. Kilometers south of Avaris is the tomb at Beni Hassan. It dates to 1700 BCE. Because no one has looked for evidence of the Exodus in this period, the tomb has never been linked to the biblical story. Into Egypt from the area of modern Israel. As in the Bible, the scene involves bearded Semites riding donkeys and bringing their families and flocks into Egypt. Like the biblical Israelites, they are wearing multicolored tunics. The hieroglyphic inscription on this wall calls these people the Amo, God's people. Looking in the right place, during the right time, we are the first to recognize a veritable snapshot of the migration of the biblical Israelites to Egypt.
Black on the walls. So that's it. Can't hide it. Can't hide this. Let's go to what now? Okay, I'll go to this. Nature Knows the Color Line by J.A. Rogers. Where's my book at?
How y'all brothers and sisters feel about this information that we're bringing out tonight? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Still can't hear you. All right, all praises, all praises.
On page 123. Start at White's. White says.
This is Nature Knows No Color Line by J.A. Rogers.
What page is it?
Page 123.
123.
The bottom paragraph.
Right. White
says an interesting gradation of all shades down to the black is exhibited by the Jews.
So this guy, what happened? Well, J. Rogers is giving us different scholars' takes on how the colors of the Jews. This guy says they went from real white to black, which is false. So watch this.
Especially dark were the Jews of Spain and Portugal.
So that clears it up. Go ahead.
The Portuguese Jews were very dark, says Pritchard. The Duchess d'Ambrites, wife of Napoleon's ambassador to Portugal, said that the Jew, the Negro, and the Portuguese could be seen in a single person.
Can be what?
Can be seen in a single person.
They all look the same. Jew and the Negro. The Portuguese, Israel inhabited a lot of Portugal. Can be seen as the same person. Go ahead.
So dark were the Jews.
There you go. Go ahead.
Especially of Portugal and southern Spain.
This is before the time of the Spanish Inquisition. We fled over there. Go ahead.
That many whites thought all Jews were black or dark.
Many whites thought what now? Back then?
All Jews were black or dark.
So what happened now? Slavery happened. You shall discontinue from your heritage. Now no one knows. But it was known back then. Go ahead.
This belief, said Burbot, shows what an error most people are in. Since he says the German Jews, as for example, those of Prague, are as white as most of their German countrymen.
So this guy gives an argument. No, they're white. They argue back and forth.
Many of the Jews who were banished from Portugal by John II.
John II. Yeah, that's the king. John II. He banished us during the time of the Spanish Inquisition. they were kicking us out of Spain. So Portugal was nice to us at that time. So we fled to Portugal. And this guy, to please the Queen of Spain, started kicking us out also. So John II, go ahead. Many of the Jews who were banished from Portugal by John II, go ahead.
Settled in the West Indies.
Settled where?
In the West Indies.
Jamaica. Go ahead.
John Bigelow, who visited Jamaica in 1850.
What year?
In 1850.
Go ahead.
Saw the descendants of these Jews and says they were Negroid.
They were what?
He couldn't even get it. He startled it. He said he couldn't believe what he was reading.
They were Negro.
He said, yeah.
The descendants of Jews.
He put an O there, that's why. It says Negroid.
Oh, Negroid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
They were descendants of the Negroid. Jews is black over there in 1850 in Jamaica. They still are. We went over there.
The Eastern Jews who settled in Austria.
That's all I want. Oh, they're black. It's just they're black too.
Yeah.
Go ahead, you can read that one.
The Eastern Jews who settled in Austria, Poland, and Russia were Negroid too.
They're black also. Those brothers over there were threatened by Hitler to be subject to eugenics programs over there. And Margaret Sanger bought it from them and bought it over here, and it became Planned Parenthood over here. All right? Which is a shit, they won't tell you that.
And you
That's
know
all I
what's
want.
heavy about that, Deacon?
Yeah.
You got dumb Negroes now trying to say that the people in the Caribbean are not Israelites. They're questioning the 12 tribes chart, okay? And not just crush that questioning that they have. That there's a lot of people, especially people in Jamaica, are questioning. There's a guy on 125th Street, I'm not going to say his name, because this is going to put a nail in his head, saying, I want you to prove to me who the Jamaican people are and show me in writings that people call them the Jews. This is your proof.
There you go.
Okay?
So go to 1 Maccabees 3:48.
1 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 48. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
So what the Greeks did was the same thing they're doing now. They whitewashed the images. They took out our images and put their own in our books. Nothing new under the sun. This is iconoclasm in the Bible. Image destruction in the Bible. You saw the 10 Commandments, that's the same thing. Putting their images in our history. The same exact thing. No different.
I got to do it. You done jumped on iconoclasm. What do you got? What do you got?
Isaiah 11. We're going to get to the history now.
I'm going to put iconoclasm.
Oh, again, show 'em.
Put the thing I sent you earlier. The picture with the yellow highlight on it. Yes. Isaac, read.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely got to be going there.
Iconoclasm.
Y'all want to know what this book is about? See this book here? This was a book that is entitled The Icon, and it has images of our foreparents painted all over the walls in Europe. Moses, like the pictures that we just showed earlier, Moses, David, Solomon, all that's in these books before the Renaissance period. So you can write the pre-Renaissance period. During the Renaissance period, that was when they began a campaign of whitewashing and destroying the images there. Let's read. Isaac, start it off. Start at the top.
Iconoclasm, Venetian looting in 1204, and the sack by the Turks in 1453 are the main reasons why only very few icons have survived in Constantinople.
This is what you call the Dark Ages or the Middle Ages, this period here. Read.
It may seem daring, therefore, to write an entire chapter on the icons of the capital. Yet the situation is not quite so hopeless as might appear at first glance.
So what he's saying is that it might seem daring to talk about the images that are not tainted, because he said there's still some left around. Go ahead.
Icons existed not only as panel paintings, but also as frescoes and wall mosaics, some of which have emerged.
Some of these frescoes and wall mosaics and paintings have did what?
Have emerged from layers of whitewash.
From layers of whitewash, letting you know that the white man is the devil. He's washed the pictures down. That's what this book is telling you. Negroes, so-called Negroes, know nothing about books like this. You hear me? Go ahead, to do what? Read.
To give an undiluted impression of.
So these pictures that have not been whitewashed gives you an undiluted impression of the highest achievement of Constantinopolitan art, meaning that art that's over there in Rome, in Italy. Y'all understand? Because we ruled all of that during the Dark Ages, so you can understand. That's what the Renaissance was about, the rebirth of white rule. Now, right, I've got the pictures. Now I gotta show it to him. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm just gonna take a brief moment to show you how the white man is the devil. And then maybe if time permits, we're gonna read out the Bible that he's the devil. But I'm gonna show you the devil's works. I'm gonna demonstrate out of the books that the white man written, that the white man has, not Negroes, that he has recorded layers of whitewash. What I'm about to show you, I'm gonna show you a picture that was taken several different times, and you're gonna see the stages of whitewashing. That's gonna blow your socks off, ain't it? Y'all ready for this? This book was written by a scholar from Switzerland, Gabriel Sedge Rajana. Okay, and he recorded in the forewords that certain prejudices have led to the whitewashing of the images. So now what you're looking at, you think, right, this is Moses, right, hold it still, let the people see it. This is Moses, you can see the scene, Moses, that's the army, of Pharaoh's army behind him. Y'all see that? And then the next scene is Moses and the army drowned in the Red Sea. Can y'all see that? You see the big figures in the picture? The big figures. Both of them are Moses. They're showing you different scenes of Moses. That's how they did it. Right. One scene is Moses. She got the staff in his hand. See the stick? Can y'all see this? Yes, then the next one, they're showing another scene of Moses casting the stick and causing the sea to close up and kill the same Egyptians that's chasing us. Okay, now move to the other picture. Okay, this is Moses again. You see that? Coming out of Egypt. So now why am I showing you this? Give me the book back. Y'all got that, all right? Now, this was painted on the wall in Upper Syria during Europus. Now I'm gonna find another scene for you. Come back. I ain't done yet. Take this, show this to her. This is what I wanted to show you. This right here is Ezekiel and the Valley of the Dry Bones. This is also in the same area, in the synagogue of Dura Europus in Upper Syria. And this was painted during the 3rd century AD. That's how old this picture is. Can y'all see that? Now, if you're looking at the picture, keep these images. I need it sharp so that people can remember what they see. Because when I show different books, they're going to have to remember what they just saw. This right here is, you see what my finger is right there? That's the valley. That's the reason why you see that opening, that dark opening. Y'all understand me? That represents the valley. Now, y'all really can't see the detail of this because this has been whitewashed. So you can understand. The next scene is Ezekiel being carried in the spirit. That's what this is. The hand of God above him, when it said that he carried me away in the spirit. And you see down at the bottom, those are the bones that was thrown all in the valley. Do you see heads here? If you come over to the other side, you see heads, arms. You see these things here? Now on the other page, come on the other side. These are the Israelites. This is Ezekiel. There's Ezekiel again with the dry bones coming back as Israelites. That's what you're looking at here. Can y'all see this? Now it's washed out, right? Now, watch this. Hey, they got it now. The same picture, even this is whitewashed. But you can see that they had to come back and do it to completely destroy it with the first picture that I showed you. You see Ezekiel over there with the Israelites coming back, and then you look on this side, you see the valley. Now you can see the pictures, the parts clear. Get it where you see the bones and see the heads and all that? Right. This is one layer of whitewash. This is one layer of whitewash. The picture that I showed you previously was a second layer of whitewash. Okay? Now let's get the words on here where it tells you where these pictures are. Let them read it. Y'all bear with me? Y'all all right? Fresco showing the vision of the dry bones in the synagogue of what? Dura Europus, 3rd century AD. Now move around on that picture to let them see, because this is what y'all just saw earlier. See the Israelites. So they washed them down, these damn demons. They watched, right, but you ain't seen nothing yet. They washed them down. Y'all saw the final destruction, like what we read out of that where it says layers of whitewash. Move it to the other side. Okay, that's the valley again. So you got more details. See all the heads and the legs and all that? That's Ezekiel the 37th chapter. Y'all all right? Can y'all see this? Yes. I know y'all shocked, but this is out of Dura Europus, 3rd century AD. Now let me show you what the pictures are really supposed to look like. From Dura Europus. Now they didn't. This is a photograph of the Israelite priests on the walls of the same place. Get the writing at the bottom so you'll know that it's in the same place. Priests on a fresco at Dura Europus, 3rd century AD. So here's what I want to ask the class. This painting and the other paintings are in the same room. You follow me? So let's read the writing now. Go up into the writing. Thus the Israelite priests dressed in what? Move it over. White linen. Let's get a look at them. Now let's get the priests. You see the color of them? That's the color that the other pictures are supposed to be. Look at the feet and the legs. Look at the hands. Black. That's the color that all those pictures that we just saw. That's the way they're supposed to all look like this, because they're all in the same place. Where's these pictures at? Dura Europus. Show them the words again. Dura Europus, 3rd century AD. So it's in the same place. How in the hell is one of our pictures totally whitewashed and these are not? And it's all talking about the Israelites. Ezekiel was a Levite priest. Yep. We're reading the priests here. So why in the world did they lighten up Ezekiel and left these brothers black? Because Negroes don't study, that's why. That's the problem. So now, I just needed to drop that bomb. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. Okay.
Was Isaiah 11:11?
You okay, Ithon?
Yeah, man, that was good.
All right, all praises.
Content. Isaiah 11:11.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria.
Assyria is Kurdistan today.
And from Egypt.
Egypt. We was in Egypt.
And from Pathros.
Egypt is lower Egypt. Pathros is upper Egypt. Go ahead.
And from Cush.
Ethiopia.
And from Elam.
Iran, East India.
And from Shinar.
Iraq, Mesopotamia.
And from Hamath.
Central Syria.
And from the islands of the sea.
And other areas. So Israel is in Egypt. You want to keep that in mind. Keep Egypt, Pathros, and Cush in mind. All right? Now, let's get Jeremiah 44, verse 1. Jeremiah 44, verse 1.
Jeremiah 44, verse 1.
Because Israel had, remember, Egypt was neighboring Israel. So whenever an empire would rise, Assyria, Babylon, Persia, Greece, Rome, Israel would flee into those areas of Egypt. You always ended up in Egypt, which is right next to Israel. It's right there, the borders. Read.
The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the Jews which dwell in the land of Egypt, which dwell at Migdal, and at Tahaphanes, and at Naph, and in the country of Pathros, saying.
Upper Egypt. So Israel, Jeremiah went to Upper Egypt to teach the people, to teach Israel in Egypt, period. You understand that? You see that? So the Lord said he will cover his people from those areas even up until now. Those were still over there in those areas. Remnants of us. Get 2 Maccabees 1:1. So Jeremiah is during Babylonian time. Isaiah was during the Assyrian uprising. Israel's in Egypt. Jeremiah, Israel's in Egypt during Babylon's time. Now we're going to read about the Greeks. 2 Maccabees 1:1.
2 Maccabees 1:1. The brethren, the Jews that be at Jerusalem and in the land of Judea, wish unto the brethren, the Jews that are throughout Egypt, health and peace.
See that? So during the time of the Greeks, Israel was in Egypt once again. Y'all follow? So from Assyria all the way into Greeks, we was in Egypt, and from Greeks to the Romans in Egypt, and afterwards in Egypt and other areas. Y'all follow?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's get Babylon Timbuktu real quick. It's a page 83. Babylon Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Windsor. The North African black Jews. He got to put black there because Negroes didn't think it's talking about white folks. So you got to put that redundant term, black Jews, at this time.
Okay. And stop at where?
I'll let you know.
All right.
I'm reading with you.
Page 83 from Babylon to Timbuktu. At this time, the Jews would not accept Greek culture.
During the time of the Maccabees. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, Antiochus was determined to Hellenize the Jews.
Cause the Jews to accept white supremacy, white culture, assimilate. Go ahead.
The army of Antiochus marched into Palestine to support Menelaus, the leader of the pro-Syrian party. As a result, many Jews were killed.
Go ahead.
Others escaped to the hills and to Egypt.
And to where?
And to Egypt.
Go ahead.
Only those Jews that supported Antiochus' policies remained in Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
An edict was promulgated interdicting the observance of the holidays, the Sabbath, and circumcision.
Those laws are forbidden. Go ahead.
A statue of Jupiter was erected in the holy temple above the altar.
The abomination of desolation. Go ahead.
To this statue, the people brought the sacrifices of pig meat, the animal which is an abomination to the Jews.
Go ahead.
Because of this religious persecution, the legitimate high priest Onias III and many other Jews fled into African countries such as Egypt, Ethiopia, and Cyrenaica, Libya.
Stop. That's all you want. So he fled into Egypt, Ethiopia, Cyrenaica, which is the Greek province of Libya. All right, so you wanted. So now, let's get this here. The encyclopedia, because you know Negroes don't read these kind of books. It's called the Encyclopedia Jewish Diaspora of the Jews in Africa. All right, so we're going to read. This is a Jewish encyclopedia. It comes in 3 volumes. This is volume 2. All right? Now, it's called Jewish Diaspora, Origins, Experiences, and Culture because these apologetics, or pathetics as I call them, were trying to say that Rudolph R. Windsor's information is false. It's not true, it's wrong, we rely on this book and therefore it's false. Okay, we're gonna read from their scholars then. Maybe they disagree with Windsor.
Historical overview. According to Jewish biblical tradition, Jews descended from the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, went to Egypt. They were later expelled, passing through the desert on their way back to Palestine, which was periodically occupied by the pharaohs. Survivors of the destruction of the first temple by Nebuchadnezzar in 586 BCE founded a Jewish military colony in Elephantine, Egypt.
So during Babylon's time, we fled to Egypt. Go ahead.
In the 4th century BCE, after Alexander the Great's conquest, more extensive Jewish settlement occurred.
Read the earlier in 2 Maccabees 1:1. Go ahead.
He invited Jews to settle in Alexandria, which became a cultural center. The Old Testament was translated into Greek, the Septuagint translation. By the 2nd century BCE, Cyrene and Carthage had Jewish settlement.
Cyrene, the Cyrenaica, Libya, and Carthage. That's Tunis. Remember the elders class last week, but that brother was still in slavery in that area of Africa? That was Tunisia. That's Carthage today. That was Carthage back then. Tunisia is ancient Carthage. Go ahead.
Some Jewish traditions remain in many areas today. During Roman times, Jews were noted as far west as Gibraltar, and they had significant political and economic importance. At times, this led to clashes with their neighbors, as in Alexandria. Jerusalem fell in 70 CE, and zealots fled to Egypt, where they fomented a Jewish revolt, capturing large parts of the countryside, but not any urban areas. The Romans suppressed these uprisings.
You finished Elephantine, Egypt?
No, I already
get there yet?
I passed that. And
that's what you go to.
All right.
Go to Acts 2. Acts 2, almost done. Acts 2, verse 5.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
Acts 2, verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born? Parthians,
Persia,
and Medes and Elamites.
That's Iran or Eastern India. Go ahead.
And the dwellers in Mesopotamia,
Iraq,
and in Judea, and Cappadocia, and Pontus, and Asia,
Greece,
Phrygia, and Pamphylia, in Egypt.
In Egypt. Go ahead.
And in the parts of Libya about Cyrene.
Cyrenaica. See that? That's all I want you to get. You read the rest. Read the rest.
And strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes.
That's us also. All Jews about all from all over the place. Now go to Babylon Timbuktu again, page 88. Page 88 and largest Exodus. The largest Exodus. So Israel fled to this area. This is going into after 70 AD. Page 88. The largest Exodus of the Jews is right toward the end. Between the 2nd and 3rd centuries, you'll see it.
Okay.
The largest Exodus.
The largest exodus of the Jews occurred during the persecution by the Arabs led by Muhammad. He had said on his dying bed that he wanted Islam to be supreme throughout all of Arabia.
Go ahead.
There was a Jewish tribe called Rahab, which crossed the Red Sea and migrated to the extreme point of the western Sudan.
Go ahead.
At the same time that the Jews were migrating westward across the Sudan from Ethiopia, they also migrated southward from Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco to the fertile region between the Senegal and Niger rivers.
To the west coast. We went from Libya, Tunisia, Acts 2, Libya, Tunisia, that's North Africa, Northeast Africa, Carthage, Algeria, which is the same place, a little under Tunisia, Morocco, go ahead, north also, to the fertile region between Senegal and the Niger rivers, go ahead.
When the Jews from the north and the east met between these two rivers, they established a confluence or crossroad in West Africa.
We met up and started working with each other. Go ahead.
Where men could exchange their culture, ideas, and merchandise. These Jewish migrations went on with great frequency about 300 AD, and they continued with the utmost regularity for 1,200 years. Joseph J. Williams points out the course of the Jewish migration from northeastern Africa. He writes that the Jews migrated up the Nile, passing Memphis, Elephantine, Khartoum, and then they turned west at Kordofan in central Sudan, in the region of the White Nile.
Remember it said Memphis, Elephantine, Khartoum. Remember those words. Go ahead.
In the region of the White Nile, Williams thinks some Jews settled in the country of Shalak in the southern Sudan and Uganda. He continues by tracing the migration from Kordofan, going west to Darfur, Lake Chad, Kano, and then to the countries of the Niger River. The original habitation of the Sanghe people was Kongia, Kokya, or Kuka. This place was situated in the Dendi country and known as the Dendina, lying near the Niger River on the northwestern border of what is now the modern state of Nigeria.
Go ahead.
Many scholars think that the Sanghe people came from Egypt or Ethiopia.
Remember Isaiah 11, Egypt, Ethiopia, or Cush. Remember that? Elam, Hamath. Go ahead.
Because there exist many Egyptian culture complexes among them. For example, the preparation of the dead body for burial.
Yeah.
Za'el Yamini came to Kuka about 300 AD, an ancient abode of the Sanghe tribe. He established a line of kings known as the Jah or the Dia dynasty. This founder of the first Sudanic dynasty in Western Africa was a black Jew. His name is sometimes written Za'al Ayaman. Joseph J. Williams say that a citizen of Timbuktu named Abdurman S. Sadi wrote 1650 in his book Tariqa S. Sudan, History of the Sudan, that Za'al Ayaman was derived from Za min el Yemen, which means he is come from Yemen. Za'el Yemeni came to the Niger country by way of Ragla in central Algeria. Ragla was a great trading center of the black Jews. Dr. Barth and Professor Godbey say that Za, the founder of the first Jewish dynasty, established his capital later at Goy on the eastern upper Niger River.
See that? So we established a capital in the east upper Niger River. Now, this book is false. Okay. I'm going to read it. Encyclopedia Jewish Diaspora, it's page 454. Read that.
Page 454.
Yeah.
Migrations into sub-Saharan.
And that 1300s to 1400 CE. You'll see it. Just end there.
Migrations into sub-Saharan Africa.
Now remember, Babylon Timbuktu is false. That's a Jewish diaspora encyclopedia written by people outside of Negroes, apparently. Go ahead.
In later centuries, Jews are believed to have settled in Western Africa during the...
Whoa. Slow down. But read it again.
In later centuries, Jews are believed to have settled in Western Africa.
Go ahead.
During the height of the Sanghe, Mali, Ghana, and Kanam Bornu empires. According to accounts from explorers of the region, several powerful...
According to accounts from explorers of the region. So they saw it. So it's not believed to be, it's fact. Read the words. Go ahead.
Several powerful Jewish families of the...
Several powerful Jewish families. We read about that in here. Babylon, Timbuktu. The Songhai Empire, they established these empires and capitals all the way to the upper Niger River. Go ahead.
Several powerful Jewish families of the Songhai Empire were of Jewish origin until Iskaya Muhammad came to power and in 1492 decreed that all Jews either convert to Islam or leave the region.
That's why in the movie Roots, Kunta would say, praise to Allah, because they forced us either to convert to Islam or be killed or go into slavery. So we either would convert willingly or would convert falsely and still keep Jewish customs in secret and get caught and killed or remain in the land as false Muslims. Go ahead.
According to certain records in Timbuktu, an older community...
In where?
Timbuktu.
Go ahead.
An older community was formed by a group of Egyptian Jews who traveled by way of the Sahel corridor.
A group of what Jews?
Egyptian Jews.
See where Israel always fled to? Go ahead.
Who traveled by way of the Sahel corridor through Chad into Mali.
Where? Chad from where?
Through Chad into Mali.
West Africa again. Go ahead.
Another community was that of the Juha, ruler of Kokoi, located near the Niger River, whose name is only known as Zua Alamain.
We read that. We just read that in Babylon Timbuktu. Zua Alamayan. Go ahead. Za'al Ayamayan. Go ahead.
Or Zua Min al Yaman, meaning he comes from Yemen.
That's in this book that they say is false. Go ahead.
Local legends state that Zua al-Yaman was a member of one of the Jewish colonies transported from Yemen by the Abyssinians in the 6th century.
Ethiopians is Abyssinians. Ethiopians. Go ahead.
In the 6th century CE, Zua al-Amain is said to have traveled into West Africa along with his brother and eventually established a local Jewish community between Mali and northern Nigeria. Some accounts place West African Jewish communities in the Ondu forests of Dahomey, south of Timbuktu. In the 1930s, these groups still maintained a Torah scroll written in Aramaic that had been burned into parchment with a hot iron instead of ink so it could not be changed.
It's still there. Go ahead.
The decline of the Jewish communities of the West Africa Maghreb most likely began with the influx of Arab invaders into North Africa.
Remember in Babylon Timbuktu it said that he was going to force Islam. Muhammad said he vowed to push Islam, and he did it by the sword. So as Ishmael was pushing from Egypt down, Israel would migrate further west or move further south. When as they were running, they would meet up and establish communities. And some of them would get conquered and converted or conquered and killed and sold off. Because remember, the Spanish kicked us out of Spain. We ran back to Africa, and the Muslims are there. So we were hiding. We can't know where to go. Because the curses followed us wherever we ran to. Go ahead.
The decline of the Jewish communities of the West Africa Maghreb most likely began with the influx of Arab invaders into North Africa starting in 640 CE.
Remember, it said the highest exodus, the largest exodus, based upon the Arab invasion. That's the said in Babylon Timbuktu. Go ahead.
And later into West Africa in the 1300s and 1400s CE.
See that? Middle Ages. It's during the Spanish Inquisition. What time is it now? One more, Cap. Your Negro land, get that one.
Hey,
and we'll stop it there.
That right there, that history just covers you Israelite groups that's mad because we're in Africa raising up the Israelites there.
Yeah.
You just got historical proof that not only are there, but they're still following the customs of the Israelites up until now.
Yeah.
Okay, because you got a lot of groups that are against us because we're raising up the people over there. And mad. Okay?
Read that, Cap. Bring it out for me. You know what to do.
Negro land, or Negritia, was an archaic term in European mapping.
It's an old term for European mapping.
Describing the inland and thinly explored region in West Africa as an area populated with Negro people.
As an area what?
as an area populated with Negro people.
Go ahead.
This area comprised at least the western part of the region called Sudan.
Wait a minute, they didn't catch something. Read that. It says what? Describing what?
Describing the inland and thinly explored region in West Africa as an area populated with Negro people.
Can you tell how the way this is written that he's saying that something is odd with this, meaning that the Negro people don't belong there? That's what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
The way it's written, it says populated with Negro people. Like that's something odd. Y'all pick that up? No, they
He
picked
could
it
have
up.
just said African.
Exactly.
Okay, why did he
That's the point. That's what I'm trying to get him
He
to
could have
see.
just said African.
He didn't say it. He said populated. In other words, saying like populated with a whole nother group of people.
And you know it's heavy? That goes with the Zondervan Bible dictionary. Where
Exactly.
It says,
that's the point.
Not the Negroes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
He says
When you read about Ham.
in other words, it's saying that it's populated with the people that's not from there. That's what he's saying.
Right. Go ahead.
This area comprised at least the western part of the region called Sudan, not to be confused with the modern country. The term is probably a direct translation of the Arabic term Bilad al-Sudan, meaning the land of the blacks.
Or Negro land. That's the Arabic term for Negro land.
Okay, corresponding to about the same area, there were various kinds of people in the area, including the Jews of Bilad el-Sudan.
Go ahead.
Some of the greatest states of those considered part of Negro land were the Bornu Empire.
Bornu Empire was established by Jewish communities. The Kanem Bornu Empire, read that earlier. The Kanem Bornu Empire was established by Jewish communities that came out from the east and migrated further south, and from the south further west.
That's the reason why he's making the distinction with Negroes being in that area, because
Right.
he's basically saying that these are Jews.
Right. Go
That's
ahead.
the point.
And the Sokoto Caliphate.
Now go up, click on Jews of Bilad. Let me go to Hannibal. Sudan. Go ahead.
Jews of the Bilad al-Sudan.
Of the land of the blacks. Jews of the land of the blacks. Jews of Negro land. Go ahead.
Describes West African Jewish communities who were connected to known Jewish communities.
Stop. It says known Jewish communities. Not maybe, not possibly. It is believed, suspected. It says known Jewish communities. Go ahead.
From the Middle East, North Africa, or Spain and Portugal.
Why? From the Spanish Inquisition. They fled from Spain and Portugal. King John placed them there, or Jamaica. They ran up there. Go ahead.
Various pseudo historical records.
Stop. Now look at the word. It's trying to be slick now. Various pseudo, meaning false.
False. Yes.
It further says known Jewish communities. Now it says various false historical records. No. You read factual records earlier. Go ahead.
That's the same way that the white man does when he says, hold it. That's the same way that the white man does when he says, you look at the picture and you see Christ is black. Then he tells you they almost look black.
Right.
Same kind of stuff.
And think about it. It says various pseudo-historical records. Who made the fake records? And when? Who would doctor make those records up and make them fake and when? What he's trying to do is put confusion in there.
Yeah.
Because this is their research. We didn't make fake records and put them there. When do we have a chance to do it? So who would do that?
You on?
Various pseudo-historical records attest to their presence at one time in the Ghana, Mali, and
Songhai
Songhai.
Empire. I read that earlier. That's in Babylon, Timbuktu, and the Jewish diaspora book. Go ahead.
And Songhai empires, then called the Bilad as-Sudan.
They call the land is black. Go ahead.
From the Arabic meaning, land of the blacks. Jews from Spain, Portugal, and Morocco in later years also formed communities off the coast of Senegal and on the islands of Cape Verde.
They have blacks over there speaking Portuguese. Be over there too. Go ahead.
These communities continue to exist for hundreds of years, but have since disappeared due to the changing social conditions, persecution, migration, and assimilation.
Yeah, slavery. Now, I cannot leave out this. Go real quick. Let's go to where is it? I gotta go back to that book again. 455. I'll read it myself. It says by the 2nd century. This is Jews in Africa. Same book, Jewish diaspora. By the 2nd century BC, Cyrene, Libya, and Carthage had Jewish settlement. Some Jewish traditions remain in many areas today. Carthage. We'll do a Carthage now. Now we're gonna go to I'm gonna go to real quick. Hannibal's picture. Hannibal's from Carthage during the Punic Wars. All right. Now, hold on. Let's go there. We'll go to Babylon Timbuktu. I'll read it fast. Babylon Timbuktu. This is page 107. All right. It says, during the Punic Wars and after, North Africa contained a large Hebrew population. This Hebrew population made converts and intermarried with the Canaanites and the native Africans that were there. But we were the larger in population. So the term given to the North Africans, since we were the majority, fell on us also. We became called Carthaginians. You understand? The original Carthaginians was Hamites. We took that over. Like Harlem, you know, whites took Harlem. We said, now we take that. Harlem is ours now. It was originally theirs. All right? The city and language of Hannibal. At the ruins of Carthage, archaeologists have found about 4,000 inscriptions in the ancient language of Canaan. Nahum Salt says these inscriptions date from the time of Nehemiah, Persia, Simon the Just, Maccabees, of Hannibal and Hasdrubal, that's his brother, says Schultz. And most valuable of all, we have found again the ancient language and writing of Canaan in that land, the rich idiomatic speech of a city which once counted 700,000 inhabitants. And we Hebrew writers, we who write and fill in our biblical tongue, have recognized at once that this recalled Phoenician language is nothing more nor less than Hebrew, a pure Hebrew dialect, nearly the same as was spoken in the country of Israel. They found the language of Israelites in that land. It says, the population of Carthage was derived from Palestine, and its civilization was Hebraic in origin. Schultz is certain, after much research, that the language Hannibal spoke and in which he directed his troops was Hebrew. There is evidence that the Carthaginians possessed the high priesthood, and their ceremonies and sacrifices were similar to the rituals found in the book of Leviticus, because Ephraim had their own priests. According to some inscriptions, the Hebrew tribes of Asher and Zebulun were in Carthage from the foundation of the city. So they went there along with Ham, and they stayed there, and then eventually more of us migrated over there and took over. At the ruins of Carthage were excavated many inscriptions containing Hebrew names such as Joab, Joash, and Joel. The city of Tunis, or Tunisia, or Carthage today, is said to be neither Arab nor European. Tunis is a Jewish city. Nowhere else does the Jew feel at home as he does in Tunis. Schultz says so beautifully, and indeed Tunis, the inheritor of Hebrew Carthage, is the eternal city of the Jews. Now, real quick, I'm gonna get this real fast, then we jump thing outside.
There ain't much, I was just gonna show the picture.
It's called The Story of Civilization, number 3, by Will Durant. The section is The Story of Civilization by Will Durant. The top side goes from Caesar and Christ. It's going into the middle, it's going into the time leading to Christ. All right, from the Punic Wars and down into Rome and so forth, in the Byzantine Empire. This is a multi-volume book as well. I'm gonna go to page. Shout outs to Officer Ezra for giving me this book, man. All praises, thank you. Page 41. Gonna give me some gold here. Page 41 is called Hannibal against Rome. It says the Carthaginians were Semites, akin in blood and features to the ancient Jews. Read it again. The Carthaginians were Semites.
The Carthaginians were the people of Shem, so you can understand.
Were Semites, akin in blood.
Akin, blood related.
And features.
And features.
To the ancient Jews.
To the ancient Jews.
Their language now and then struck a Hebraic note, as when it called the chief magistrates shofets, the Hebrew shofetim or judges. The men grew beards, but usually shaved the upper lip with bronze razors. Most of them wore a fez turban, shoes or sandals, and a long loose gown. But the upper classes adopted the Greek style of dress, dyed their robes with purple, and fringed them with glass beads. So they assimilated themselves, but they still maintained Israelite customs, while under the Greek fashions. You follow?
Right.
Show them Hannibal, please.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Give them the pictures. First of all, before you do it, let me tell you where these pictures are. Before you do it to them, before you give them a heart attack and make them fall out the chair, before the underwear get totally ripped up. I know they already. The information that we are about to show on the screen comes from the book entitled "The Image of the Black in Western Art." Who put this book out? Let's find out. Let's get the writing. Do you see what I'm looking for? What am I looking for?
Distributed by Harvard University Press, Cambridge.
That's it. That's what I'm talking about. Distributed by who? Harvard. You can't get no better than that. Okay, we got books from Oxford University too.
And Yale.
You can't, and Yale.
I got Yale here.
Okay, so don't mess with us. Now, show them what's in the book. Let me show it in the book first, then when we put it on the screen, you'll know that it's from the same book. Here we go. So they can see the pictures. These are the coins minted of Hannibal. Now, that's the reverse side of the coin, the elephants.
Across the outside.
Okay, so y'all know about that? You want to speak on that?
Yeah.
Tell them about that.
When he conquered Sicily, he had crossed the Alps. They didn't expect him to do it. He was a master strategist of war. And many of the Edomite militaries today base their war tactics off of him. I also read somewhere that the Spartans and him shared war tactics together. Anyways, he crossed the Alps of elephants. And so when he conquered, he minted coins of his face and an elephants on the back of the coin.
Now, get the words. That's the next slide. There it is.
Etruscan coins. Head of a black mahout, bronze diems, British Museum.
Right. They're telling you that the back side of the coin has an elephant on it. That's
right.
what it said. Observe the head of the black mahout, and on the reverse side is the elephant. So who are we looking at? Hannibal. That's what that was.
Mm-hmm. That's Hannibal's picture. All right. So let's try to get around that one. So I have to end it on this. I gotta end it, but I got way more to go.
We got more bombs, but
Show the books.
save them.
And the books.
Yeah, we're gonna keep them.
Yeah, it's gonna be that time now. So it's 10 o'clock. Yeah, we'll fall back. All right. So next time I come up, those who I teach again, we'll continue where we left off.
Let's wait till they retire.
All right.
Just wait till they recover.
All this is in the
We should say
all this information we have is in the 12 Tribes video also. All this information, these sources we have,
right.
A lot of it is in the 12 Tribes video breakdown as well. You always watch that as, you have time.
Now, the people that is trying to debunk us is calling themselves apologetics. They picked the right name because they're going to have to apologize to us. Okay? Because we just showed that those apologetics are so pathetic, they're going to have to apologize.
They ain't seen nothing yet.
Okay? I've not seen nothing yet.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.
Broken crown. True story. Remember when I
I said, I give you all the praise. The night that I realized demons and angels real, but I'm caught in a daze. My brother was afraid. He said he felt like spirits squeezing all over his chest. Then I sent out my prayers, cried with all my tears, reading the book of Psalms. I asked you to conquer my fears. Then I saw it was true. The Bible is the truth. Them spirits left from out of breath, but now I see the proof. What's my identity? This ain't serenity. My life's a struggle in a bubble full of evil deeds. I used to go to church, but evil's gotten worse. Sung for the choir, smoking ganja till my lungs hurt. I was a fornicator, I was a wicked nigga, made in America like figurines and action figures. But then I figured out, the script's my way out. I'm God's chosen, soul was broken, but I'm hopeful now. Repented of my sins, keeping the laws within. Now all my borders blue, now I'm rocking my friends. Now I'm an Israelite, now I'm a son of God. Now wake up my people, we are the broken crowns.
There's a war inside my head, and I'm drowning in regret. When the lights come down, got an empty crown. My body's missing pieces, can't pull it all together. My body's missing pieces, I wish I could remember. My body's missing pieces, can't pull it all together. My body's missing pieces, I wish I could remember. There's a war inside my head, and I'm drowning in regret. When the lights come down, got an empty crown.
Thank you for listening to the Forefront Radio. We now have a Cash App. The link is in the description of the page here on anchor.fm, also on Spotify. We appreciate you listening in. We do have a few features that we are including now. We are selling a few products such as watches, perfumes, colognes, and other products will be available for our Israelite community as well as the general community of the population. We have a Facebook page. Just type in the Forefront Media and you'll be able to get updates of various shows that we drop when they do drop. Please do share this show if you like the show, and we do hope that you do love this show. And tune in for more episodes once we have them available. Thank you for listening to The Forefront. I'm your host, Afiel Levi Israel.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Give it my peace.
people, incline your ears to my words. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which ye have not heard, nor have known. We will not hide it from our children, showing the truth to each generation, to praise the Lord and His strength and His wonderful works. For He established a testimony and a law appointed for Israel, which He hath commanded our fathers, to make them known to the children, that they may set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep His commandments. That they may set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep His commandments. That they may set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep His commandments. That they may set their hope in God and not forget the works of old, the things You've done before. That they may set their hope in God